Okay, and I didn't put the bit rate up. Can go with 3,000. There we go. That should be functional now. I can get the music in a moment. It is, presumably running. So we have the Toasty Wheels RS here. Can get that music up. There we go. This is last day's car. Whenever it was I recorded this, Wednesday, was it? It's basically a max power Civic. The wheel was pretty nice, apart from giving me a single eco carburetor. That was not very nice. And this music goes a little louder than I thought it would. Yeah, I could probably turn that down. I don't know. I think it's about right. I can pause that. I am not getting frame drops today. That is a definite improvement. I'm kind of concerned because a PC crashed before starting this stream. That's not brilliant. But we will try and bring up the wheel and see what we get for body type. Ooh, coupe. Okay, this is interesting. We've had high performance sport before. We've not had a coupe, just a normal coupe, which can be derived from a sedan, but with two doors, perhaps sitting a little lower. So this is interesting because that I would say is high performance. There is other ones though, which I'm going to need to check the engine positioning. So also the size. And then we could do the engine positioning after the size. Are we going to get spin again? Yes, we are. I was going to say, large isn't ideal. Large can be pretty good for handling because it's more predictable. But yeah, I spoke too soon. Large isn't necessarily ideal for weight, but it can have its times definitely where it works. This 3.12, this seems like the right kind of body. Just here, but I will change it if I have to for the engine positioning. So we've got front, rear and mid. Front, okay. This could be interesting. We've had a front-engined large coupe before, but it was more of a high-performance variant, or high-performance sport as I call it, not the kind of, not GT. There's also this actually. Either one of these will do for now. I will probably choose something a little older if it looks cool. But yeah, this looks to me like a BMW 6 Series. If I just hide the wheel to show what we've got. It looks like a BMW 6 Series. That's the immediate vibe I get. This one is more convertible. But it can definitely be a coupe. I mean, I think convertible does fall into the same coupe category, to be honest. So, if I need to, I can change it to a convertible, but I will let the wheel decide what body type it is of the kind of ones that do still fall under the coupe bracket. We do need to bring up the wheel again though, to see what we can get. I need to actually small the browser window a little, because otherwise OBS and that are fighting for screen real estate. So we've got the wheel. We need numbers here. I did get one up, I didn't change it, but I can enter the numbers here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've got 7 numbers here. We also have an advert blocking the wheel. We have to, let's see, which one we get. Are we getting treated steel again? We are. It seems to be going, the wheel seems to be going through a phase now, like everything must be made of steel. As I said last time, though, that car turned out quite well. That was treated steel, and that was actually pretty good. It wasn't too heavy though. This being a large body with the steel body is not necessarily going to be great, but if it makes a lot of power, it will easily overcome that. Ooh, okay. This is like a ladder frame on the back. Not necessarily a terrible option though. I mean, I should not say this, okay? I should not say it, because it's just going to wait to mess me up. But we do have 5 options to choose from here, so tweak the wheel, and then we can spin. Looks like we might be spinning again as well. Got galvanized steel. Nothing here is particularly high end. Partial, is that? I was going to say, yeah, I think that is a pickup truck frame on the back. Granted, I can't really see the pickup truck frame on the back. Is it more obvious if you go underneath? I mean, maybe it's the way this body works or something, I don't know. Either that or it's on the front, it's like a frame. I think it's just how this body sits. I think it's designed for like Australian utes and stuff, that's where it comes from. So we've got front, it supports front and rear engined on this body, which is not an issue. We will go with, one of the two options here, because it has decided front engine. We just have to decide which front engine with the wheel. And we're going to spin it again. Okay. Let us see. We have got transverse. Thank you. And it does support struts, so that's one problem gone with. I say thank you. We've had a body similar to this. I don't think that was a treated steel, but that was very similar. It was a large coupe with the engine in the front, transversely. Interesting how close they're going to be. We have got, although that was a high performance coupe, so this body can afford to be different. As I say, this is more BMW based. It's not a super high performance, like supercar, hypercar type thing. So we have got McPherson struts and double wishbone. We have not got leaf springs or coil springs, thankfully. I think because it's transverse, and I'll take that. Struts again, okay? I say again. The last coupe we built, which I found personally to somewhat resemble the Mitsubishi FTO, that was also struts on the front. Now, what we'll get on the back is anyone's guess, but even if this is leaf springs, we're past the worst of it, I'll be honest here. Even if it's leaf springs, it's not going to destroy the car. And we've got two. We've got leaf springs. I shouldn't have spoke. Okay, it's weird, but we have not got front leaf springs. So even this, it's just going to handle a little worse. Doesn't mean the thing isn't going to put power down. Just means it's going to handle a little worse than if it hadn't had it. I feel sure that wheel is turning. Maybe it's just my head and the position on the monitor, but I'm sure that turned a little. Anyway. I mean, maybe I shouldn't have said that, honestly. So let's see what we've got in terms of coupe. I mean, for this, maybe? This body supports all kinds of things. We've got vans even. Technically vans. More car-based vans, but anyway. We've got a truck. This is a coupe. There's a few coupes, I think. Well, there's at least a coupe. I quite like this one, honestly. But as I say, I could change it later. There is convertibles and stuff as well that fall under the coupe body, I believe. At least a hardtop convertible is definitely a coupe. Don't have a random colour generator up, I'll have to find something. That is not quite what I'm looking for. Now I need a colour generator that actually shows it. Okay, this I don't know if it's gonna show. There we go. It's not showing very well at all, but you can see there's a blue there. That will offer us a colour, so if I click generate, we've got some kind of purple. Get the hex. Copy that. Try and like reposition this. So we have got this hex here. That's one we can use. We can tweak the colours a little, but this will choose the base colour we're going to get. I did have another purple car, and it looks pretty good. This looks kind of plum coloured. I'm not sure I like it. Let's see what the, not contrasting colour is though. Let's see what the second colour will be, if I can actually find my way around the menus. So we have got generate, we have got green, purple and green. I have no idea how these are going to work together. I can briefly try something just to like throw them on here and see how we work. There we go. So we can remove the wheel for now. There is our car thus far. We'll go all body panels, amber as they call it, which is not amber at all. Amber would imply more yellow. So if we can just change the roof to... Has it? I don't think it's changed this. Just copy the hex again. Either I misentered it or like I didn't actually copy and paste it. Anyway, there we go. That's actually a pretty nice green. And they do contrast in terms of being like a lighter and a darker colour. As I say, currently I'm just throwing this stuff on here to see how it looks. I will likely change it later on. I think roof is here. You know what? I don't think they contrast too terribly. There's ways I can make it work. It also helps that the body is just generally pretty good looking, at least for a modern car. Now, we have two options. If I bring back the wheel in a moment, we have two options. Gonna try cutting that so I don't have to re-enter everything later on. We'll go... Let's see what we get. We get front wheel drive, okay. Now things have started changing. The last vehicle... The last one I built was front wheel drive, but I mean the last large coupe I built, that was... The last large sport coupe, let's say, that was some form of all-wheel drive, so we are different here. I mean, look, it's leaf springs on the back. That's the thing, I could complain a million times about that though. The mystery party wagon, that was leaf springs on the back. That thing's still cornered well. So, we have got 4 options. Let's see what we get. We've got 2. We've got a 60-degree V engine. Could work quite well for a front-wheel drive. Certainly better than an inline, given that it's a transverse engine. We have got... Ooh, we've got a V12. This seems familiar. Is it just building like a mystery party wagon, but more coupe-shaped? Because that had pretty much the same suspension configuration. That had a transverse V12 as well. Time will tell, because things could get a lot better. So we've got 2 number 3s, but it was a lot easier than entering the whole thing, and I think quicker. Oh, we've got 6. We've got something pretty light. I like this. Better than cast iron, or... Well, there's only one cast iron option, but I think aluminium billet is pretty good. And we've got pushrod. I think the other was overhead cam. Honestly, I'll be honest here. I think pushrod is better. We've spun it wrong. Should I reroll? I guess I should. I didn't enter this correctly, so I'm just going to reroll. Pushrod was good, but like it's going to be what it's going to be. Okay, we've got pushrod anyway. That works out for me. I won't complain. It's chosen pushrod twice. At least my conscience is clear now that I'm not like I have done this in by having the wrong number of options. We have got... Number 2 is that? Iron Standard. It's not Eco. I'll have to take it at this point. It's built weird backwards engine configurations before. We have got at least Standard, so it's not like the Ultra Economy variant, which doesn't tend to be very good at all. So far, though, I see potential, and I shouldn't say that because I know what the wheel does when I say that kind of thing. Ooh, forged, okay. We've got... Let's see what we've got next. Spin again. I'll take it. We've got to choose a conrod somehow, and please cast. Thank you. I shouldn't be thanking it for a number 2, but we've not got heavy duty stuff. It should weather little at least. Well, it's got 12 cylinders. It's less likely to be an issue than other technologies. Okay, a little bit of an odd configuration with the camshafts, but we have got overall something entirely decent, I think. Like, on the whole, as far as things could have been absolutely messed up, the car isn't the worst. Spin again. To be fair, spin again is more likely on a wheel with very few options. And we've got counterweights. Even so, I'd say this engine could have been a lot worse. We do need to choose the displacement, though. Honestly, I should have chosen that on the previous menu, but we can see if it fits. This particular body, if we should afford to use it, we have a lot of options. Like, even a V12 transversely is fitting. Probably helped by a McPherson struts, to be quite honest. I think we can fit a 9-litre engine. Again, I don't think we need to go beyond 9. So I think if we go 3, 4, 5, 6, 7... I feel like beyond 9 is just ridiculous. Not all bodies can even fit like a 5-litre engine in certain variants, so I'll take it. Actually, it does fill it out when you get to 9. But we can fit something around about 9 litres in, so... yeah, we can fit a 9-litre engine if we have to by playing with the size. Let us see what we get. No, oh sorry. I'm going to need to re-roll this. I've just realised how stupid I'm being, and I can't rest in good consciousness with having a 1-litre engine, because I don't allow 1-litre engines. It happened before, the engine was just so hopeless. 7-litre V12. This is going to make power. At this point, I'm not going to say it's going to be unstoppable or anything, but we have a lot of potential here. That size will do for now. That is 7 litres. And we have that stuff configured because I did it before. We've got, what? No, we've got 1 and 2. And spin again. We've got spin again. I think you probably know what I'm guessing with, like, valve timing, what I want. You probably know. And it's not giving it me. Okay. It's pushrod. Probably the only, like, silver lining we've got. I don't think pushrod needs valve timing as much as perhaps other technologies need it. Now, we do have 4 options. And then we have, like, various split-offs if it chooses a turbo. So, you know, just, it's basically NA, twin charge, turbocharged, supercharged. And we've got supercharger. It seems to be choosing a supercharger a lot. This is going to make power, though. A supercharger as well. So the low end on a 7-litre supercharged engine is going to be incredible. But it's front-wheel drive. The only thing I'm concerned about is it's just not going to put the power down at all. Wait, did I go 4, 3? I don't know. It chose 2 anyway, so it wouldn't have mattered no matter what the ones after it said. It just wouldn't have made a blind bit of difference. Because it didn't even go that high. And again, it's continuing its path of giving me a very high-end supercharger. Like, I don't know why, but when it starts on a supercharger, it just keeps giving me the highest-end bits on that supercharger. Which it has not done this time, control-wise. But I think we're generally pretty good. Honestly, I don't know if Screw or Roots is pretty good. I know Centrifugal is closer to a turbo and really does hit the torque. Which under certain circumstances can be a good thing to have. I feel like the music's high, but I don't know. It's a 3-litre supercharger. If ever you needed a sign that this engine was massive. So we've got 1, 2. We've got a carburetor. You know, I'm not going to say anything. After what happened the last time I built a car, I'm just not going to say anything about this. Let's see. Okay. Could be worse. Could be worse. That's all I need to say. Excellent. You know what? We've actually had a 6-carburetor V12 before. I think they might have been 4-barrel, though, or single-barrel. I don't think they were 2-barrel carbs. I can't remember specifically, but this is, this shouldn't be struggling for airflow. 2-barrel are pretty good, honestly. Not the highest end, but they can let quite a bit of air through the engine. And then we've got 6 of them. So, I think we'll be good with this. No idea how much power it's going to make from the get-go, but I feel like it will be half decent. Pushrod on a larger engine isn't as much of a downside as you may be led to believe, because we've got just brute size to push air through the engine. Methanol, I think that's like drag racing fuel, but we have to obey the wheel. The other V12 had methanol. It didn't work out too well. It just didn't make power. But that was a 3-litre engine. I think this thing's still going to make power despite everything. And we've got a low RPM intake. At least it's not compact, because compact is awful. Low is better than that. And we've got 6 more options. Let us see. We're going to get spin again. So we will indeed spin again, as per its request. And we've got tubular race. That is the 6th option. So we've got 2. Let us see. We're going to spin again. I mean, it seems to select it more on the wheel with a limited number of options. But that's fine, because all we're going to do is spin it again and get one of the other 2 options. Dual exhaust. Okay, I like that. I like that a lot. For this larger engine, dual exhaust is a very nice addition to have. Yeah, spin again. It's choosing it a lot nowadays. Bypass valves, I can live without it. Dual exhaust is more important than bypass valves, to be quite honest. 3, 4. Let us see. We've got 2-way. It's not great, but, you know, at least there is some kind of protection for the environment. This car, it's not like it's the other car. I think it gave it leaded fuel, and there wasn't even a catalytic converter available for leaded fuel. Okay, number 2 is the number of the day, as it seems. Baffled isn't the best muffler, but it should quieten the thing down. And we've got no second muffler. Decent config. Oh, would you look at that? The RPMs are actually fairly consistent here. Torque, less so much, but I don't think this engine's going to struggle. Because even though the conrods are some kind of cast, if we just scroll back, conrods are some kind of cast. And we have got forged pistons, forged crank. But it all lines up quite well for RPM. So I will just make sure it's within limits. Yeah, 6200 RPM. This can make it, and the torque is not really an issue. I thought torque would be more of an issue than it is, but as things stand, we're making 400 horse. And that's just like from the offset. I will let the engine roar a little later, but as it stands, we're making 400 horsepower through the front wheels. And you may know where this is going. With the wheels, love for cross-ply tyres. The wheel does love cross-plies. Are we going to get spin again? No, we're going to get 7. It's got a CVT. There is a vision, I believe. I can see a vision here, which is something. And I'm not sure I hate the vision, honestly. Continuous is not an exciting transmission, but performance-wise, it really isn't bad. So we've got a helical LSD. Better than having an open diff with all this power. At least we have something to help put it down. So, let us see. Oh, yes. This is so good. I mean, as much as I would love radial race tyres, we've got radials. So much better than cross-ply, given we're going to need quite a bit of tyre width to get this thing to grip. I can forgive it now if it gives me steel wheels that don't look all that great aesthetically. I can forgive it because it's giving me cross-plies. I can even forgive it for leaf springs because cross-plies are extreme, or radials should I say, are extremely important. I think you call them bias plies as well in certain cases. Medium? You know what? Medium radials. Not the highest performance, but the other kind of transverse front engine coupe also had radials. It'll be interesting to see how it competes, because theoretically being front wheel drive, this won't handle as well. But that had cross-ply tyres, even with rear wheel drive. I think this is going to be okay. Like, even if it technically isn't the quickest, it's certainly going to have brute straight line speed and wide tyres. So we have a decent amount of potential running through there. We've got alloys. You know what? Everything else aside, I think we can build quite a nice, somewhat modern-looking coupe here. The only thing that's maybe not so much going to work on a modern coupe is the rear leaf springs, but it's certainly going to have power. Almost like a strange front-wheel drive version of the the late rear-wheel drive BMW 7 Series, not 7 Series, sorry, 6 Series. I believe they moved to all-wheel drive later on, but in the generation I'm talking about, the early 2010s version, they were front-engine rear drive. This being front-engine front drive is why I think of that. I need to stop yapping and actually do something. Okay, you've done a real thing here. You've done a real thing. It loves putting drums on the front. That's just a habit it has. It also loved the number 1, but Spin Again has kind of fixed that issue. Alright, the brakes are just consistently bad. It's really going to lean on those radial tyres, because of how it is. We're going to need a number of pistons as well, so we've got 5 options for the number of brake pistons. And we've got 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. That's just cruel. When I've got drum brakes on the front, you make the rear that much better. The only advantage may be brake fade. I don't know. I think I can get them working. If we look at this. Okay, that's good. At least being a large coupe means we can make the brakes brutally large, which will help it. Granted, with a steel body and everything, this thing is not going to be light. I can't be that delusional as to believe it. It's almost like it's building a front-wheel drive muscle car. So a muscle car body would maybe not be the most out of place. Off-road skid tray. It would have to be a coupe type of muscle car, naturally. But if I'm to go with, say, a late 70s, early 80s muscle car coupe, that's a vision I can see. So, but this does suit the engine, or fit the engine, should I say. So for now, I'll have to stick with this body. We will change the active aero and stuff later if we go with it. Okay, so this is a coupe, but we do still fit seats. So I would say we'll go with different numbers. We'll give it 2, 4 and 5. Sound realistic for this type of car. Let's see what we get. I mean, if it says 2 seats, I may have to select a smaller type of coupe. If it says 4, that is actually kind of ideal for a luxury coupe. And we've got 5. Okay, I'll take that, because just with what I'm going for vibe-wise, or I'm thinking of vibe-wise, less than 4 seats just wouldn't work with the whole idea I've conjured up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we've got like overall vibes coming from this. 6, and we've got luxury, is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Handmade. It's coming together surprisingly well, so surprisingly cohesive. You wouldn't get a luxury coupe with leaf swings on the back, but I don't think that's going to be an issue in the grand scheme of things. I think it's going to work, especially since it's front-wheel drive. All of the stuff is focused on the McPherson struts on the front, which is still independent suspension, if not the greatest kind of independent suspension. Actually, no, we need different options, so honestly, I seem to generally start with the 70s 8-track, so I'll do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's like become a habit. So I'll just give it those options anyway, even though this looks too modern. I mean, if I change the body to be earlier as well. Have we got a CD player? I get the feeling we've got a CD player. And I like my CD players. 1, 2, 3. Okay, CD player. This is looking immediately a lot more early 90s to me. Maybe the very end of the 80s, but CD players in cars weren't really a thing back then. So we are going to see which versions there are. There are 4 versions. And we will have to decide from one of them. I'm quite liking this overall, though. Basic CD, okay. Basic CD, yeah. I would have expected something a little more sophisticated, but it's got a CD player, so it still kind of ties in with the lore I am developing for this car. Because I feel like every car this wheel creates has some kind of vibe going for it. Kind of accidentally, because it's totally randomised, but each and every one of these works. Okay, with circulating ball. It's not good. It's better than manual whack and pinion. Because generally, like, if you've not got power steering, rack and pinion is just not ideal. Unless maybe you have a very lightweight car, then it could work. But on anything heavier, it's not a good idea. And concern Concern shouldn't have been due, I guess. It's just if it has none, especially with a front-wheel drive only car, I don't think there would really be a way out of that. We need everything we can get to help this thing corner. So we've got safety. Again, I'll go 1970s onwards because I want these cars to at least have something that kind of makes sense. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've got to 5, 6. Yes, that's entered correctly. And we will spin. See what kind of safety we're getting. We're getting spin again for safety. Okay, that's a thing. 6 or 5? We're getting 2020. Okay, I can take that. What I'm thinking, maybe somewhere around the late 90s. That's what I'm getting. I know the safety is a little different, but I do feel that for this car. It's also the kind of thing where an antique suspension still kind of makes sense because, you know, maybe they may have been keeping an older body style in production and it just had that suspension and they couldn't be bothered redeveloping it or didn't have the money to redevelop it. Like, this stuff happened, I think, particularly with a few English companies. We've got Active Comfort. Active Comfort. That is actually on brand for this car. The one thing I can say that's good, it's going to be heavy, but it's going to have the power to go with that weight. And it should sound pretty good because it's a V12. Do not underestimate front-wheel drive either. If tuned correctly, front-wheel drive can be pretty capable. I can't say for certain it's going to be quick, and it's probably going to be slower around corners than the Civic, but no less. No adaptive dampers, but we're not stuck on twin tube. Sway bars, which are passive, because I think that's the Active Comfort does that. This could be a lot worse. It makes sense, generally. The leaf springs on the back, not great, but they're not front leaf springs. So it could have been a lot crueler. The machine is at least in balance with itself. I think if we go with a sport, maybe for suspension, or normal. Normal seems like a good starting point. Which is, I believe, just average of everything. I will get rid of a wheel so I can show this thing better. And maybe do a bit of model design. Just a little to get this whole thing together. For wheels, we do need to adjust the wheels if I can find the trim menu. Let us see. Now, we do have radials, so we can make these bigger in both directions, actually, as per what is needed. Now, I want something that has 90s vibes, as I say, late 90s vibes, maybe the very dawn of the 2000s. They're GTR, they're a bit modern. I mean, there's something. These are definitely 90s, but they would look like they would be on a mid-size car of some kind, not a large luxury coupe. If I could get BBS wheels, BBS type wheels, that would look suitably sporty and definitely fall into the correct kind of era. So I just have to see if I can find them. There's certainly torque thrusts and stuff, but they're not going to fit it. Okay, these are somewhere looking like that. They look a bit more modern though, I feel. Just some kind of mesh wheels that actually fit the car is what I want. Some of these do just look too modern for my liking. They look okay. I mean, one medium tyres, so they're not utility and they're not cross-ply. I'm going to take this. I feel like they'll be okay for now. We do have to actually... We have to tweak the overall design. What's it doing now for speed, I wonder? 6.1. Now, 6.1, and it's like, wow. I've just realised the car is 2.5 tons. All the better we have power then, I guess. How much of that weight is over the front wheels, though? So, if we look over here, I'm getting distracted, but how much weight is over the front wheels? 58. Okay. It's a very heavy car with a lot of power. A lot of that weight being over the front wheels is actually a good thing because it means this thing is probably going to gain traction. Now, I'll probably look into changing the body very soon, but I just want to see what we can get for tyre width. Yep, these medium tyres take that width. We can go up to 395 with these tyres. Excellent. Can we go... So we can go with like 22-inch I guess 22 is definitely unrealistic for something from the 90s, but we can run that if it looks good. Some people do change wheels and tyres on older cars, so we could just run with that as some kind of law. 2.5 tons though, it's an absolute boat of a thing. So we have got coupe. That is, I think that looks like a Corvette of some kind. Maybe it's the mid-2000s Corvette, I don't know. So what have we got? That's listed as a coupe. You know what, I can kind of see that. And it's not having to be a super high performance coupe. So we could build the world's heaviest Beetle. If it was larger. I have just remembered, sorry. I've remembered that it has to fall into a kind of large size category. We have these various bodies. This looks like a C5 Corvette. I'd say that's a bit high performance though, and it's not really a huge car as we are looking for. There's this 2.98, apparently a coupe. If I could find like a large American thing. Ooh. It's definitely on the smaller side. This looks like a Dodge Charger. I think it looks a bit more modern. But it is apparently a coupe. And it is just about large enough. It's 3 meters. So I would say this falls into a large category. If it's not the largest thing ever. Now, the engine doesn't fit. So how close is the engine to fitting? I wonder. Oh, 98 coupe. There are some of these bodies which are definitely different. The wheel, as I say, will decide. We have a convertible version, which is still a coupe. So this is decent. This has a few options. We can go with a convertible body. It is available, if the wheel decides such. So, okay. This body will do the job. Maybe we can't get, like, our ideal engine size, but it will fit if we just resize it a little. It's chosen a decent size, because although it's a very wide engine transversely, as we can see there, it's is it actually a V12? Yeah. My mind just having like second guessing it if it was a V10 or something. Ah, hi Elena. I'm not focusing on the chat very well, but yeah, the BBS is it was a brand of wheels. I think they're still around. So we had that kind of look. I found the best thing I could that actually worked. That's why I have thought of it. Anyway, we do have the various options. I mean, I'm thinking maybe I'll change the body, but I just don't know what else there would be. Like, it's essentially a Dodge Charger, I think, Challenger Charger kind of thing. I think this works as best as I would get, honestly. So, with the body finally selected, I'll have to go with which one of these coupe versions. So there's 4 versions that are listed as a coupe, so I will have to spin the wheel. Just about brought that up in time. Okay, so we have got the convertible. I don't hate it though. Like, this thing is going to be an absolute overweight boat of a car, irregardless. So having the convertible body kind of goes with the theme, I think. We do have 4 versions of convertible though. Like, I can see a vision being had. A large American coupe. So automatic soft top. But it's not hidden. But it's an automatic soft top, which actually lines up with the visuals of the car. So I'm not going to complain about that. Because it does look like a soft top. So, I mean, that's the aesthetic we get. I will also go back to the wheels. Now, this thing is going to have a lot of power and a lot of torque. It's making 400 now. Over 500 is not inconceivable from what I can see. It's heavier than before, which it would be. It's a convertible. I mean, I've honestly gone with one of the smaller bodies I could have gone with. And, come on, widen out. We can go with 305s here. But is there any way of making them even wider? Can bring that back a little. Bring that back. Maybe bring that back. Like, this should have 5 seats, so we have to allow a little, 4 of those 5 seats to fit. Okay, so that looks like it's one option for both, for front and the rear. We'll go with 305s. I mean, hate to say I would have to change these wheels because they're not wide enough. I'm going to try the 305s. If they don't put it down, or change the body, should I say, if they don't put down the power, then we do have options to change the body. I've not completely designed the thing yet, so there we go. I do need to remove a wheel as well. I think it's best me do a mechanical somewhat, and then return into the design. 2600. This is the heaviest vehicle. But we do have to go try and build the engine up a little. I do like this engine quite a bit. Now, we are limited with this body type because we have to go and do that. It's not changed the RPM, like, much. Okay, I'll make the engine ever so slightly smaller, because 6990, because it's gonna fit. We've got maybe a very minor power loss, but it revs to 6900. it's really using the 69 number there. But we've got 6900 RPM on the conrods and crank, which I wouldn't have expected them to line up so well, given they're completely different material-wise and stuff, but they do. They line up exactly for RPM, so I can't complain too much about that. Maybe there's method to the wheels madness. So we can upgrade the upgrade. I think this fuel, nitromethane, is that I think it does favour a higher compression. So we can keep going up here and it will keep making more and more power. All of this torque is slightly concerning me. We have a supercharger though as well, so it's not just a case of, you know, you get this power, this is it. We're gonna need the power though. It's, at least the wheel has been fairly kind, giving me a large V12, but we are going to need this power. The carb size, so we're trying to line this up for all the cooling and stuff. There's no intercooler, I don't believe, on a screw based supercharger, so I mean that's something. We could try and lower the carb if we're trying to get if we're trying to optimize it a little. So 75 there. I think generally 75 will work as a starting point. Then if we have to change it, we can change it. So the manifold, do we want that to be smaller? I believe we do. Yes. It has given me standard low. Not ideal, but better than compact. 3, 6. Okay, we've got valves. The valves almost line up just as they come in the car body, so that again, it's not bad. Headers are massively off. I think we do really need to lower these. They're tubular race, so they're completely different from any other bit of a car. Maybe they just won't line up. Got 52%. Doesn't match up that well, but it kind of matches up. Like, if I could make the numbers lower just to make this match better. I don't know. We've got dual exhaust. Very large exhaust, most likely. Okay, so getting the exhaust down. Okay, that's good. The headers are going up for overall numbers. So they level up a little better now. We have the carburetor and the manifold can also be changed to kind of more match the airflow. I mean, I've got this engine, I think, surprisingly well matched for airflow. The headers do not really match. Honestly, the headers don't match that well, but they're still in the same kind of ballpark for how the overall flow is. They're not that far off. We do have the... I don't think we have VVL. No VVL, no VVT. We've got cam profile. That's going to go up. So the valves can go down a little for percentage here to line up a little more with the other numbers. And I mean, we have the supercharger, remember. This engine is not done. I'm just doing some initial tuning to try and get it to function. So I would say airflow is, on the whole, pretty good. It's not perfect, but it lines up decently. We can try improving the compression. I think nitromethane, I think it's like designed for drag races and it's supposed to make loads of power, but it doesn't seem to make a huge amount of power in my usage. We do have a supercharger here, so we can just try and like brute up the displacement with a supercharger, It'll make a lot more torque, though, which is maybe not something I want. We have, like, 900 and something, 982 peak torque, which isn't too bad, but as you see, larger supercharger mean larger torque figure by quite a bit. So how's the airflow? The airflow is changed quite a bit. The carburetor is interestingly something. So the carburetor and exhaust, we want this stuff to be kind of aligned, but it wants larger carburetor and a larger exhaust. And I will deliver that. We have the carburetor for this kind of engine to help it power up quite nicely. Now, even if this thing only makes 500 horsepower, we are at least making some power. It's not going to be the slowest thing. Granted, the miles per gallon may be even worse than the other engine. We're getting 4.5 miles per gallon. I mean, you know, if it's a drag racer, then sure, it's just going in a straight line for a very short amount of time. But we are getting quite a bit of power from this anyway, which is definitely a sense of recovery. Now, I think it's going to have to kind of lean on the supercharger because I think I would say natively, inherently, I don't think this makes more power. Natively is more like display resolution. So we have 3710 supercharger tune. Can we adjust that? Making that larger now. At least the thing is, the supercharger doesn't seem to be exploding. Like, superchargers can explode, kind of, if you try and make too much power. The thing is, I do remember the world's fastest watermelon. That was making about this power, and that was quick. This weighs 2.5 tons. So no matter what I do to it, I'm not so sure it's going to be easy. I mean, I can try and rack up the cam profile. That will push the RPM up. And it doesn't even help it, honestly. So with the valves are a bit off from everything else. I mean, as I say, I don't have to, like, blindly follow 75% on the fuel. I just have to get it to the point it's making power. So, like, if it starts losing power, I can go higher or I can go lower than those numbers. I'm actually surprised how having the lower cam profile is really helping the power go up. Like, as I say, this is making torque. At the very least, the one thing I can say that's actually excellent about this, it's really pushing the torque. So the torque is exactly what you want to move the wheels, and the torque is imperative to just making this car work. Okay, there we go. Springs and lifters. That's where a lot of the power was hiding, and we can rev this out. It revs up to almost 7,000 RPM, which is enough for a push-rod engine like this. I mean, I don't think it's going to run into any particular problems. It's probably one of the easier to tune cars that the Wheel has built. It just makes sense generally. Not perfect sense because of the leaf springs on the back, but I think we can still get this to go quite fast. And anyway, I don't think this is going to feel like 500 horsepower. It's going to move, definitely. And it's not going to be the slowest thing, but I don't think it's going to feel like 500 horsepower, to be quite honest. So we've got the brakes are suffering, yes. The brakes would be suffering. It is not particularly nice to the brakes. So raising this, raising the springs and lifters are making this a lot more aggressive, and I like it. It's like the thing is actually gonna give some performance. Perhaps we can get even more from the supercharger when we're done with this. I can't say for certain, but as you can see, it's actually got a nice steady power curve and a very beefy torque curve. That is what we want to really push the power through the wheels. The front wheels, as it turns out. We've got... I think we've got, like... I would say it's one of the better engines. I don't know. It's certainly one of the... It's certainly in the better half of engines. Lowering the supercharger is actually making this thing go more, which I find interesting. Usually you want a larger supercharger to push more air through, get the thing going more. But in this particular case, seems the smaller supercharger is just working a little better. It's axing the torque, but we have so much torque, I doubt that's going to be an issue. If we can get 550, I'll take that. Not the most powerful, then neither was the max power Civic type thing. What was it? The Toasty Wheels Turbo, which wasn't a turbo. The Toasty Wheels was very fast, so... The Toasty Wheels was very fast, and that made just over 200. So power and weight are not the end game necessarily to how a car is going to handle. We can keep getting more aggressive with the turbo settings though. I like that. Like, this car is just taking it, perhaps because it's a V12 with loads of carburetors. Maybe it'll sound like a 1960s race engine, I don't know, but if it does, I can't really complain about that too much. Okay, valves are at 95%. I mean, if 100% is making power at the cost of all fuel efficiency, I guess I'll have to take that. So we've got 540, 542, 544, 546. The power is gracing this engine now. All it's taking is sacrificing so much. We have enough torque, I think. No, we don't. We don't have the RPM, actually, which surprises me. We don't have the RPM to rev this any higher. So we've got 6,800. I feel like I'm going to have to just call this a day when we do hit a certain level of... not power, but a certain level of cam profile, just because I really do want this to... I don't want this thing to like rev so high it can't use that power because it's just through the roof of the engine. Are we making close to 600? I know I was able to get the Toasty Wheels over 200 and it struggled because the carburetors were trash, but I was able to just about eke over 200 out of that, so it's not inconceivable. Now the torque is going back. I don't know exactly the reason for this, but we are getting the RPM back, should I say, not torque. The RPM is pulling back towards 6,600. I just don't want this to rev too high because the limits of the engine are 6,900, which in and of themselves isn't bad, but I feel this engine just wants to keep revving beyond that point. So we'll go down. I think we'll leave the springs and lifters on a point because... like, we could keep pushing this, but it will just raise the RPM past the point I'm comfortable with. We can then try and adjust compression. So 565.5. Yeah, the compression is maybe too high even. Things change in these engines, and so the engines have to change as well. Okay, so we've got... it's not complaining about the... not complaining about the compression. Let's see what we can do. I mean, we're approaching 575. Hi, Burger King Bob. I am building a random car. The wheel has chosen. Wait, say hello, wheel. The wheel has chosen everything I have to do. So it decided a large coupe, which is making a lot of power, but weighs 2.5 tons, and it's got a transverse V12. I'll just try and remove the body. It's got a transverse V12 and front wheel drive. Thankfully, radials. We didn't get cross-ply tyres selected for us. So, yeah. We also have 6 two-barrel carburetors. So we got lucky there. And, yeah, leaf springs on the back. Because the wheel decided. It's not giving me front leaf springs, so I won't complain too much. We have, we have a soft top as well. It's just a large coupe, really. And then the power, the V12 isn't as bad as it could be. Massive engine. I am going to do some design work on it. I can show actually one I built before. It ended up a little crazy. But I have to to a certain extent, I have to feel out whether the random prompts kind of built. and make it look like something that would exist. So we ended up with like this 2000 show car. It is actually really quick around the corners. Doesn't make a lot of power, but this is incredibly fast around the corners. We've got drum brakes on the front. That happened again today. It's not like the easiest thing to deal with, but it's fun. This car weighs probably twice as much as the one I built before, and I don't think it's going to be that quick, but it has the power to definitely move. It doesn't like the brakes at the moment. The brakes are in pain. Can probably make them larger. That'll fix it for now. So we've got 575. It's an interesting build. Because it's on nitromethane, it only makes 4 miles per gallon. The miles per gallon is not good at all. We have, with forged steel. It had cast conrods, which honestly are not as much of a downside as I expected, because the crankshaft hits its limits like at 6,900 RPM anyway, which is a suitably meme-worthy number for no particular reason. We have compression. Yeah, I was adjusting the compression, so we're approaching 600 horsepower. No idea if it'll actually make 600. I get the feeling it won't. Okay, the clearance, engine clearance is bad. That was to be expected. So we go... Okay, so I think that's the number where the RPM is tied to. 700 torques. 2.5 tons is this? I was going to say, is it over 3,000 now? It's not that powerful. Not that heavy, I mean, it's not that powerful either. The thing makes so much power, but there are more powerful cars out there. I can't seem to know what supercharger size it prefers. I made this smaller before. Now I want a larger supercharger. Make your mind up, car. In terms of airflow, we have got a lot. I mean, the valves are on 75%, so I don't know if that's good, but the manifold, all this stuff is maybe needing to change to somewhat match the rest of the engine. The supercharger is definitely helping it, though. So, 583. Yeah, the larger carb is helping. Good thing we've got 6 of them, because this car seems like it's going to need 6 of the carburetors. The headers are, I would say, too high. But then maybe they're going to work. They weren't working before. Maybe the number is now high enough to lower and get working. 6,500 RPM it was touching for a moment. We are approaching 600. Like, if I could get 600 horsepower, not the most. I've had like an 800 horsepower car. But it's good. Like, it's going to move this thing despite all of the weight. So the manifold, that can go down. I think we're going to make a pretty solid 600. 74. Yeah, we're making 600. I would like to weather it out a little higher, but the randomly selected parts do not allow me to weather out higher. Carburetor, that was it. And then we can try adjusting the supercharger again, naturally, because probably want to adjust the compression first. The valves are a little lower now, but that's fine. Maybe we can adjust them a little. I don't know, like, if it doesn't rev it out more. Okay, so that maybe that's too high. If I can lower that a little, maybe we'll be good. Yeah, 66. Like, this thing's making some power. So we've got to keep the revs, I think, at 6,600 because that will help. That will help this thing overall. We've got compression. I mean, maybe the compression likes being lower. It did like being very high to begin with, but the way I've tuned this car, it seems to actually really like just being lowered bit by bit. It's interesting because I think this engine's given me all the power it can give me, and then it just, out of nowhere, it pulls some extra power. It's a very odd thing to tune. I mean, it could be also to do with the carburetor. We've got the other stuff, not carburetor, supercharger. We've got the headers and the exhaust. We can go with bigger exhausts. There's 2 of them, but we can make them bigger if it helps the car actually move. Exhaust is now kind of spot on for performance. Headers can get larger. We may need to lower the valves a little, because we don't want it to rev this high for reasons of very great importance. So 6,800, 6,700. I could lower the peak RPM. I do not want to do that particularly. I'm adjusting the wrong thing. So 6,600. Do we want that to be higher? Yeah, we do, for valves. I mean, the springs and lifters have to be kept low enough that they don't push the RPM up beyond a point I'm comfortable with. Honestly, I thought this thing was done for by about 575 horsepower, and it just keeps building. Decent airflow overall. It just keeps building, and I don't hate that. We can change the fuel compression, not compression, the what do you call it? I forget the name. Fuel ratio, is it? Exhaust. We do not want to mess with the exhaust too much. It was fine. We've actually, despite the mismatched components, we have got a surprisingly consistent and well-tuned engine in general. Manifold can maybe change a little. Like so. And that revved it up. Well, I don't know. If slightly better airflow makes this thing rev higher, I'd rather just not have that. Keep the revs lower. Now with the supercharger also, like, we can rack on more supercharger displacement here, and the thing just takes it. The thing is not complaining too much. It has like over 900 torque limit, so we are going to actually make a serious amount of power here. We've also lowered the RPM by having a larger supercharger. That's not something I can complain about. So we've got 4 litres of supercharger on a 7-litre engine. And the thing is just keeping going. Maybe nitromethane. Maybe that's the secret behind nitromethane. You can run a lot of supercharger tune and it does just work. So, you know, you can keep going up with a supercharger and down with a compression. Because that seems to be the case. Like, I keep doing this and it's actually gaining performance. Lower compression is helping though. And the thing actually has a very good power curve, I'll say that now. Like, I didn't expect this power curve to be as good as it is. And it's working. I mean, I didn't expect this whole thing to be as good as it is, especially since I've been denied valve timing by the wheel. So we've got 623 with 624. I'm trying to put the numbers together. I feel like my mind after 600 just stopped comprehending numbers. Because it's like, this engine should not be doing this power. Surrender your superchargers or something. So, we have got a lot of like carburetor as well. And it seems to like using that carburetor airflow, which I can't complain about. If the airflow on the carbs are actually making this thing faster and just generally better in terms of airflow, I will fully utilise these carbs, or at least as much as I can. 77. 75. How much torque limit have we got? So we are well clear. We're like 200 torques clear of the limit. We do not have to worry about the limit of the torque. I mean, if this is making 650 and a lot of torque to match, it may well overcome the limitations. So, springs and lifters, and we've got cam profile. Yeah, the valves, that's fixed the valves now, so they're more aligned with everything. I want to keep it at 6,500 RPM if I can. I don't want this thing to keep revving up more and more. If I can just largen the supercharger and lower the RPM, because the RPM limit is the only real limit I've got to worry about. So if I can lower that peak RPM, which is definitely helped by it being a pushrod engine, because if this was not pushrod, it would probably want to really rev. Like, pushrod just doesn't like revving, and in this particular case, it is helping the car quite a bit. We've got a large supercharger, and it's doing its job. It's making power, and it's making torque. So we can try adjusting the compression. Maybe adjusting the compression makes it need more carburetor. I do not know. I feel like there is going to be some limits. So if we look at the supercharger, 635. I mean, anything close to 650, I will be more than happy with. Like, it's a heavy car, but it's a strong engine to go with this heavy car. So the strength of the engine is definitely not going amiss. So we've got 635. Okay, it likes that tune. We can get all that gear ratio. We can go and upgrade the tune. There we go. Supercharger tune, making the tune more aggressive, is seeming to gain a bit of power. To a point, at least. So we've got 636. Even 640. Even if we can't quite make the 650, the thing is going to move. And it's going to move better than other cars. The toasty wheels, like the toasty wheels was properly quick round the corners. This is, I would say, even with the weight being downright ridiculous, this thing is going to move. So we have 6,500. I mean, I can make these springs and lifters a little more aggressive if it helps. Because the springs and lifters are very aggressive, but if it's working, it's working. We have managed to, I think with the supercharger mainly, we've managed to keep the RPM back. So that's not causing us trouble. Can make the carb a little larger. For a carburetor, honestly, this is pushing air quite well. Pushing air quite well for a carburetor. Solid torque curve. Just in general, I mean, the thing is working, and I can take that as a win. Can probably get a little more power from the headers, and the headers will be good. 636. 0.1 even. Sometimes lowering the compression, though, makes it take a larger supercharger, which lets it have a lower compression, and also ruins fuel economy. But that's a story for another day. It's going to be the world's least efficient car. I'm pretty sure the environment hates me, but don't hate me. Hate the wheel. The wheel made me do it. Fuel map. Okay, fuel map is also something we can adjust. I've not even touched the fuel map yet. That's how easy this is making power. Headers. Okay, we can try changing the headers. I think we want to make that larger. The exhaust is a little off. Do we want even larger exhaust? Okay, if you say so, wheel. Or not wheel, if you say so, game. I mean, airflow is not going to be perfect on this, but it's close. Like, this is pretty close to being perfect. I like it. And 637. I would say change the carb. No, that's all fine. I do want to hear how this thing sounds. We're in a near finished state, so I will pause this. Let us see. A little quieter than I expected it to be, honestly, but it sounds good. Maybe in Beam it will be louder, who really knows? What was I saying? The fuel map. Now this could change it. We are on nitromethane, as I say, so maybe it just needs a completely different fuel map to a typical petrol car, or even LPG. I mean, designing the car around the fuel type at least does give me that advantage. The torque is impressive. The power is actually impressive as well. This was making 400, remember, initially, so this is already in, would I say more of a positive than we had before? Just from the offset, this is how things go. Keeping it at 6,500 RPM, I would say, is kind of important. This is how it's making the power, so... This is how it's making the power, and it has its limits, like RPM-wise. How does it actually... Does it change the overall power curve here quite a bit, or... Well, yeah, it does. It pushes it back, so we don't want that. I mean, I know making the supercharger larger before did change it, but I don't think we have that option. We have all the little options to do, like the fuel mixture and all that can help, potentially. Changing the supercharger tune, maybe? Helped to a point, maybe got 0.1 of a horsepower. Not like that's going to make any kind of noticeable difference on this engine. Fuel map. And then if we can gain power here... Okay, it likes 52. Pretty close to standard. We could change the timing as well. Like, I don't want the timing to just push everything to the top though, RPM wise. But I will raise it up a little. As long as it doesn't make the RPM max ridiculous. I think above 75 it just reduces performance. I think I'll go up until there's like a loss in major performance upgrades. So yeah. I mean, I think it's about 70. Beyond 71 the performance change is less noticeable. Just generally, as I say, tuning this thing out a little is helping. Okay, we've got 640. I'll take that as a win. 640, I wasn't expecting it to be this like aggressive for power, so I'll take 640 as a win, definitely. And then we can go with a supercharger, which actually, I don't know what's that doing to the torque, but 4.4 litres of supercharger, so it's making more than half the engine's displacement just by the supercharger. And we can make the tune different. It's just, where is it pulling this power from? Because I think it's done and then it pulls like an extra 5 horsepower wherever. So 64... so that's 642.5. We have gained power and we have lost RPM. That is exactly what we want, but I think we're hitting the supercharger's limit if we go much further. 642.7. Yeah. We are definitely hitting the limits of a supercharger about this point, which I can't say I'm too surprised by. I thought it was going to hit the limits a lot sooner. I mean, as I say, we're at the point where tiny adjustments to the supercharger just grenade it, so... There we go. How am I going to brake this on front drum brakes, though? That's the other question. So, carburetor. Okay, it's giving me that carburetor sign, let's say, where... It's telling me, essentially, if I raise the carburetor, more airflow, and it actually is better for the airflow. I mean, you know, the whole numbers it's giving me here, they're asking for more carburetor, so I'll give it more carburetor. As I say, where is it pulling this extra power from? Granted, I think our good days are coming to an end, because, as I say, the supercharger is about to grenade itself if I push it much further. I don't think I'll change exhaust size, that's massive as it is. And it's already pretty close to the ideal size. Headers and exhaust, maybe not ideal compared to the rest of the airflow, but it's working well. This car is really using the nitromethane quite well. There's also, perhaps more than a nitromethane, it's just using the overall power well. It's my PC fans, like, running. Just get the remote, make sure they're going off so it cools itself. There we go. I think I've got them running faster. At the faster speed. So 643.2. Compression, okay. 3.4 miles per gallon. It's the least efficient vehicle we've built, but at least it's fast. I do feel like it's going to run out of fuel, though. Somehow I feel like I'm going to track test this and it's going to run out of fuel, so I'll only get one lap in or something. So 644.1. 775, my favourite Intel socket. This is seeming to be good. Look, I'll take this. We've got torque, which is 775, my favourite Intel socket, CPU socket. So I'll accept that as a win. It matches the channel, the Core 2 Duo channel. We've got like 775 torques. Come on, engine. Probably can't hear it over music, but this is the engine. There we go. It's got a cast iron head as well. But it makes power. And I don't think it's going to be too heavy. At least in the grand scheme of things. I think it was 58 fun. So, you know, it's a large supercharged engine, but we're making 2.7 tons now. 5.8 0 to 60 with a CVT, but it goes incredibly fast on a straight line speed one, over 200. And then for some reason it just doesn't like it if I go any further. Yeah, like 217. We can try lowering that. I mean, 5.8 makes enough sense. I would like it to be quicker, but the thing is absolutely a boat, so yeah, I think the toasty wheels with 200 horsepower is better because it just had grip. As I say, the for tyres, if these aren't wide enough, I can change the body. But maybe they're not the problem. So if I just go and look at this, so how low can I make them? That doesn't change, so I don't think the tyres are the issue. I could try making the wheels bigger. Like, it's radials. We've been lucky to get radials, so we can make those larger. Yeah, I think 5.8 is quicker. So if we can go... No, it's the same. If we can go with massive tyres... No, 5.9. So I think 22 is probably a good balance. They're very large, but this is essentially a super coupe. So, that's a thing. This is definitely a Dodge body. And I lost all my tyre whip. That's not something you want. We have got alloys. I mean, again, visually alloys do a lot. Technically, you don't have to follow the visuals, but if it says steel wheels, I'm going with things that look like steel wheels, or at least hubcaps on top of steel wheels. I don't know why it just disappears the top speed. Ah, there we go. We've got it back. We've got it back. So it seems like this car is going to be a monster in a straight line, but it's going to also take a long time to get to that straight line top end. Because besides that... Yeah, we do have a CVT though, I mean, so it's going to keep the power consistent and like in the high end. I think it's just going to take a bit of time to actually get going at all. Like if I do this... I don't know whether it's better to have that like longer. Maybe it'll like kick in at a more reasonable rate. I think it probably will help though to have this like first gear a little longer, because it maybe will be a bit less obnoxious in just how it immediately ramps out the power, and it'll maybe give the gearbox a chance to catch up. So we'll go maybe up to 40, any more than that too far, but I think this is going to work. There is just so much grunt here to move it, so that's going to definitely help. Now, we do need the brakes to be adjusted, so we've got 420 there. We do get away from the brake fade at least, but it does not like that particularly. Don't know why these need to be so large. They're disc brakes. I don't want them to be too large because the front drum brakes, you just end up with an oversteering nightmare if you put too much brake force on the back, where the brakes are actually not that bad compared to the front, which are that bad. We've got two-door, 2 seats. I did select 5 seats. Granted, having said that, it is technically a coupe body. If I just double check, because if I can add rear seats, I will. Wherever that menu might be. If I can add rear seats, I am definitely going to add rear seats. Got an off-road skid tray, naturally. Okay, we've got a 2+2, because that's the most this body will support. It selected 5, so I'm just going to go 2+2. Because the convertible body did change that, and it selected a convertible body. So I must obey the wheel. The Wheel Kun. So, what's it doing for aero? Oh yes, we can go with front aero, rear aero. No, we can go with what's it? Rear aero, all or neither. So we are all or neither. We're going to have to bring up the wheel to tell us what to do. And we're going to spin again for aero. I'm hoping it gives me all. Neither. Okay. In a way, though, it may help with the top speed, so I'll accept it. Don't know how much lift or downforce it's going to make. It's going to make a whole lot of lift, and more lift on the back than the front. Okay. That's not what you want, but hey, it says I can't add aero. And I don't think the downforce... yeah, there's no downforce on the undertray. Are we getting cooling flaps? That's another thing. We don't have active wing because there is no wing. But we do have cooling flaps, potentially. And we do have to spin again. I should show the wheel. But we do have to select the cooling flaps type. We do not get cooling flaps. I can kind of see the idea, though. I know it's not really an idea, but... It makes enough sense that they're kind of building a large muscle car GT thing, but it's front-wheel drive for some reason. Who knows why? Front brake force is low for weight. Power steering. It doesn't have power steering. We've got the brakes are suffering from brake fade. Okay. Now, if we check this, brakes are pretty massive. Do we have... So we have 59.8. This thing does not slow. And I can't really say I'm surprised. But maybe if we go with front force, ramp that up. I know it's kind of a cheaty method. But sometimes you have to cheese things. So 48. Is that an improvement? 56.5. I think it is. This is bad. But I feel like it could also be a lot worse. So pad type. 43.8 is acceptable for such a heavy vehicle. And then I'll just lower the pad type until we actually start losing performance. Because that seems like the best way of doing this. Because especially on a road car, you would not have full out race brakes. So 43.9, somewhere around this we're looking at. So we're going to need some pretty aggressive brakes to get this thing to actually do anything. Then we have 2.7 tons, naturally. It's not even the front wheel drive that particularly concerns me though, because this thing has so much weight it can't even get up to speed in an amount of time front wheel drive couldn't handle. It's just like a ginormous Vauxhall Astra coupe or something. Vauxhall Astra coupe convertible, but it's just like an absolutely gargantuan version of it. And I think the Astra also had something better than leaf springs, but that's the story for another day. I mean, the one thing is, it's got struts. Like, it gave me double wishbone before, and then I was kind of limited for actually what I could fit in the front. McPherson struts, as much as they are a weaker technology, they are going to going to fit a bigger engine. Which, when you're talking about a V12 of this size, is exactly what you want. Just if only I'd gone with all-wheel drive, things would probably be a lot easier to build. So rear brake force is very high, of course it is. I don't think we need this much front rear brake force though. I think we can probably lower that, so let us see, 43.8. I'll make these as small as I can without hitting brake fade. The pad type has changed, so I mean that's going to help and be smaller. 43.8. I mean, this is going to move weight to the front, but it's front-wheel drive. So I'm not, for once, I'm not concerned with moving weight to the front. Okay, 210, 215, is it? 43.8. Okay, the brakes are making brake fade, but having the smaller brakes on the rear is going to help. We can go with the rear brake force. 43.8. 44. And again, the rear brakes are providing some performance. Oh dear, I adjusted the wrong thing. Like, this is not going to like slowing, and I have to accept that. The toasty wheels really slowed, because although I was on cross-ply tyres, it was on race cross-ply tyres. This is not on race tyres, but I think around certain circuits where it's just straight line speed, this is going to be pretty much unbeatable. Just because you look at it's doing over 200. I've not had a vehicle the wheel has randomly generated that does over 200. If only it was doing over 200 without leaf springs on the back, but that's not something that I can really cause too much panic about. Hey, the rear brake force and the pad type both match. So we have I believe the gearing sorted here. 5.8, nice solid speed, and it does 232. Ah, hi again, Elena. We're going for the cheese disco. Or is it disco cheesemobile? I don't know. The car, anyway, we're making a lot of power. This is what I've ended up with. It is crazy. And it does 230 miles per hour. This is insane. So we've got to adjust the suspension. I think that's all we've got to do, really. There's ride height. It actually looks like it's got a fair old amount of ride height, so I could probably just make that as low as it goes, and it'll probably be fine. Keep it good round the corners, hopefully. And then we can go adjust the rear sway bars, perhaps. Maybe you want to be a bit softer. It is on leaf springs on the back, so they are terrible. But you also don't want much sway bars on them at all, just because of how the car falls into place. Wait, the car is not sporty at all. Not sure if it shows on the low bit weight, but it has 0.1 on sportiness. Sportiness is terrible on this car. It's actually anti-sportiness. It sends people to sleep. It's so unsporty. So we can go rear sway bars can be softer. I can try just removing that completely, to be honest, with how the leaf springs are, and then we'll stiffen up the front sway bars. The brakes are suffering from brake fade now. I can fix that. I can fix him. He can be fixed. 5,000. I feel... Why do I feel like doing this all of a sudden? Where is the emote? There we go. I don't know why. I just felt like gambling cheese. So I did. Got 3.84. I mean, it's understandable if this wants to be stiffly sprung. It's so heavy and actually pretty fast, so stiffer springs we're not going to miss. It's not sporty at all, though, and it apparently doesn't handle well. I guess we'll have to see. Apparently this handles worse than that car, which was just an absolute failure with leaf springs on the front. So, take that as it may be. We have got sportiness, finally. We've got like 0.1 extra sportiness. I don't know if it's just because it's generally soft compared to the weight or something of the vehicle. But it should be a lot more sporty than this when it's got so much power. And like 4 miles per gallon, if that. The environment trembles when it sees this thing coming down the road, because it just... It's terrible for the environment. It's probably got a cruise ship engine there, not supposed to be that efficient for the environment. Well, I say efficient. For what they are, they probably do okay in terms of overall efficiency, but the cruise ships are like terrible for the environment. I mean, to be fair, this is probably as heavy as a cruise ship. It is not a light thing. I could actually call it the road boat. Why not call it the road boat? And wheel. I can't beat road boat for a name. It's best to come up with. And Darken gets gambled. Indeed. Darken must always be gambled. 47.4. Can try stiffening up the dampers a little, and it likes that. Have we got rear tyres? Wait, there's unutilized fuel octane. Rush back to the engine and fix that. We cannot have an imperfect engine even though it was randomly generated. 44.1. I've apparently lost some power, but if the wheel says it's good, well not real, if a random thing says it's good, specs, I don't know. It's incredibly powerful, incredibly heavy, and not all that fast. That's how we like to build sports cars around here. Okay, stiff sway bars is good because it'll keep the thing kind of planted around corners, about as much as it's ever going to be for what it is. 6,200, that's very stiff. Anto-all. And I now have the wheel because I set it up for my winter car. So I'm going to have it for beam now. 48. 5.8. I mean, I don't know why the leaf springs are so stiff. I guess because there's so much power going down. I would say they don't need to be that stiff, but honestly, with how heavy this car is it that surprising? Don't want the dampers to be too firm, though. So we will have to do this. I'm already an hour and a half in. But honestly, as far as this goes, I think I'm quite quick for building a car. Especially given the engine was kind of complicated. So the rear damp is not complaining about the rear dampers being too firm. The thing actually has a level of not stiffness, a level of sportiness. It's not great though. So now it's complaining about the dampers. I think this will be a decently balanced vehicle anyway. So I believe that's fine. We've got to make this whole thing very stiff round corners. Okay, so we've got no extra dampers on the front. We probably don't need them. Particularly. There we go. 4.4. We've got 4.4. Where is the warning? It's not warning me about the dampers. Something is wrong. I mean, if it likes having firmer dampers on the front, I have no reason to resist that idea. Yeah, it's odd how firm they are. I guess it's to do with the handling and stuff. I am concerned though that I'm going to take this round a track and there's going to be something wrong with it because a sportiness score being as low as it is, it just doesn't feel right. I mean, I know the wheel has built a very heavy car, but I should still be able to get it to drive in a somewhat sporting manner, surely. Okay, the brakes and stuff. The brakes are having some brake fade, and I can't really do anything about brake fade the way this is. So this setup is something. Can we lower the front sway bars? Yes, we can. I think if we keep it at 49.5 for overall drivability, I mean, all I can do is hope this corners. It's got the same, it's got the same horsepower, the same suspension setup as a mystery party wagon in something this powerful. So, make of that what you will. I think it's okay. Though, how much speed have we got? Have we made it somehow magically quicker under acceleration? No, it's still doing 5.8. But we get to do the fun part now. We get to design the look of the thing. This, I don't know how it's going to turn out, but we've got our colours. That vibrant green roof. So, the wheels as well and all that. There's a lot we can adjust. I feel like if we could move the front back a little. There we go. That looks a bit more sporty now, I think. Just lowering it like that. I mean, it is kind of an American muscle car body, so there's only so much you can do with it. I think that can definitely be longer. Give it more of a sporty profile. Do you want that to be? I think that can be a bit more raked, like angular wise, because sportiness or something like that. I'm quite happy with this. I like the purple colour. I do like the purple is definitely the nicer of the two colours. So we've got to adjust the trim panels. This can be purple. That ties it together a little more. I think I might just have a green roof because it looks crazy, but it actually might work as a roof colour. And add a bit of trim on the grills and stuff, and I think that would look pretty good. So if we go edit paint, we can go, there is like a soft top somewhere. There we go. You can't do a whole lot, so roughness maybe going up. Scales with object, does that help? No. Fabric scale. I mean, I can't do a whole lot because it's such an unrealistically vibrant soft top colour. Oh, can I make it shiny? That just looks really cheap, like vinyl or something. Maybe we'll go 50% on fabric scale and like 15% on roughness. Just try and make this look have some semblance of a soft top. And I think that's going to look good. I could also go with green wheels, which is kind of crazy, but it would maybe be on brand. I don't know. I don't think I would like that, actually. I would like chrome wheels, but I'm not sure they would actually look good. Let's try. You know what? It doesn't look as off as it could. So if we go, maybe change the headlights and stuff. I mean, there's got to be something that works. How about these? I think they actually work surprisingly well. Don't want to make them too large, though. Just trying to give it those 90s sports car vibes. Even though it's probably about, I'd say very late 90s. So it could work. We can go with a grill of sorts. You can actually do a lot more with the grills than I thought because we have this mesh and stuff. For this though, I think a little chrome wouldn't hurt. The engine is in the front at least, so I don't have to do any weird cooling on the back. The engine is where you would expect it to be. Can we make that smaller, maybe? I think if I scale this correctly, I can add a hint of green as well to the inside of the grille to fall in line with the overall colour scheme. So we'll go add the chrome to the outside there. And here. And here. And here. All the chrome. And then we can go add like something. Maybe add the square grill. The cube as it calls it. I think this is not mirrored, but we can mirror it. On car. I think we need to add another green because that's soft top coloured. So we need to add the hex code, wherever that might be. There it is. So we'll go copy that. And then we'll make another with the green hex code. This is a... Well, yeah. I think I made another colour. Yeah, I did. So this is going to be... I would say no shininess, but... Or no flake, should I say, but very shiny. A bit more like plastic or something. Maybe 50% pearl. I can't really see what I'm doing. I'm just guessing at this point. The wheel does love green. It seems to put green on every car. Oh well, I mustn't question the wheel. The wheel knows what it's doing, I'm sure. So then we can go on car. It's not really visible, but there's definitely some green in there hiding out. We can go lower grill, I would say. Probably some fog lights because they look cool. We are not allowed aero because the wheel decided so. So we have to make this work in some other way. Maybe like this one. I've already used it though. That's like, I don't want to use the same thing over and over again, but if it works, I guess it works. It looks very happy to be here. Just judging by this grill, the car looks very happy to be here today. We can remove that and then add some extra grill another way. Actually, I said I wanted fog lights. I wonder if we can get like some units of fog lights or something. Perhaps that would work. Like something like this. If they go on the sides like pretty nicely. They don't work. I mean, if we get that, if we can position these on the edge, maybe even pivot this. Nope. I mean, like, that seems the best I can do. If we move that to the front... Honestly, I probably didn't even need to rotate this. I wonder if I can go... Because that kind of sticks out. If I go transparent on this... No, that doesn't work. So we can go... Maybe just make that body coloured. I do not like that. I do not like that at all. Maybe I could just do it without fog lights. Maybe that would just work better. Because I do like having that stuff, but if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Can try some, so let's try some mesh type stuff here. Because sportiness. We can then, can try mirroring that. Maybe if I make this just generally smaller, they might fit in there okay. Yeah, I mean, I think they look decent together. There we go. Probably not an exact fit, but still. Make these the green. The more glossy green. I feel like the green accents do add to this, though. In some sense of the word. I mean, maybe if we go add that, again, I will resize it, just to make it somewhat work. I don't know if they work. Probably don't. Honestly, at this point, I'm just throwing stuff at the wall. That should work. It's not the best fit, but it's a fit. Mirror that. And there is our grills. We can have a wheel logo at some point. Where's the lettering? Is the lettering here? There we are. Well, it's a number technically, but we don't talk about the numbers. So we can rotate this. There we go. Could probably make that like out a bit more. No, we couldn't. It doesn't work. There we are. I don't hate this. I mean, it could look a million times worse than it actually does. I think I'm going to need like the most 90s mirrors and indicators. What would look trendy? Oh, we can get mirrors with indicators that look like they're from the 90s. That is just perfect. Saves me a bit of work on actually separately adding the indicators, but it also just works with the overall style of the vehicle. Can probably rotate them a little. And then push them into the car. Like so. There we are. I don't know, have I grabbed that wrong? I think they look okay. But I don't know, I just can't find myself being happy with the positioning. Maybe I'll rotate them a little. There we go, they should work. We can't add a wing because it said no aero, but I can change the body. I can morph the body a little. So bringing that up, it gives kind of the impression there's some aero going on, which there is not. Probably bring that bumper. No, I can't bring that bumper in. I might bring out the round tail lights. I do have an idea, actually, what I could use for this. mean, if I could find something here... Don't know what's going on there. Is it? Oh, it's stuck on 3D. That's why it didn't go as I expected it to. I feel like these, if I could get the indicators, maybe. No, because I got the indicators idea. Okay, this is going to work. Somehow. We will get the indicators. I think on the front the indicators are integrated into the headlights, so we don't technically need them there. But on the back... can have a nice wheel reference with them. Because it is a wheel company vehicle. Then I could probably have so they can fit on the sides. Like, I think this is kind of going to work. Can have a bit of a... I think it's under bumpers, but it's just a trim piece. This is going to hopefully match. I would add some trim on the sides, but I don't know. That's going to take a while. And I don't know if I have the time to do all that. Granted, the car is pretty much finished now, other than the exterior design. Which I do enjoy doing. So we bring that down. I think we need to make sure the indicators are on top of this, like from a layering standpoint. Just so it doesn't cause any weird glitches and issues visually. No, it causes more glitches and issues if I don't, if I do that, I mean. Then we can move, let's move that, let's make that chrome. Can just make the whole thing a little more chrome. That way it actually lines up with the side lights. I don't think that looks too bad. And it's got a little wheel reference in there. Kind of looks scared, I don't know. Save the car. I feel like there's got to be something I can do. Like maybe just put a grill on the back just to get this working. Because, as I say, the wheel has decided I'm not allowed to have any aerodynamic parts on the back. But it didn't say I can't have a grill on the back. Oh, now it doesn't want to work. Okay, there's something flashing red, so I'll have to check what that is. I think it's, yeah, it's the brakes. The brakes are suffering from brake fit. I can fix that. Might as well. Because the designer is doing that thing again that it tends to do. So it's somewhere here. And then I can just adjust it. So 43.8. I can lower the rear force to match. And everything should line up. 43.8. Actually, it needs a lot less rear downforce for just 5mm extra brake. 44.1. I don't think that will have affected it enough that I'll have to redo the suspension or anything. Oh, 67 rear brake force. I got a number. I got a number there. So, where's the design? Somewhere here. I mean, I just don't know how I'm supposed to make this change this all that much, because it's just a generally tidy design. Ooh, there's these. Now, I want some kind of grill, but I don't know how to do it and get it actually working on the rear of the car. This looks like it might work. Yeah, that looks decent. For something just at the back of a car. It doesn't look too obnoxious or anything. Just add a bit of detail to it. I'm not sure if that's too much chrome. I could possibly like make that like more transparent mesh. It doesn't go anywhere, but it's not like making it more transparent really ruins the car. So we have these modern exhausts, but I think I'm going for a 90s vibe, so I don't know. These should do the job. The exhausts are both pretty large, but I just have to do that, I think, and that should easily be enough to like represent the extra size increase. We also don't want them to like go over the wheel, but I think we have enough overhang so we can move them out without affecting the overall spacing and stuff of where the rear axle is. I would say I'm pretty happy with this car and how it's turned out. Things could have been going a lot worse. And I think it'll be quick. I just don't know how quick. It should be stable, certainly with all this weight behind it. 2.7 tons. I can't help but think that's a little heavy. It's like, it's heavier than a lot of pickup trucks are. Like, I imagine, I wouldn't even be surprised if today a base model Ford F-150 is lighter than this. And this is supposed to just be a coupe. Like, it's not got a ladder frame or anything. Well, it's kind of got, actually, it's kind of got a half ladder frame. It's a bit odd. It's like the back of a pickup truck. Because it's got a ladder, it's got like half ladder, half unitary, so the back end is also leaf springs. So it actually aligns to form that kind of idea. Unintentionally, but still. I do quite like purple cars. I mean, the more I build of the purple cars, the more I realise this colour actually does look really nice. I can actually tweak it as well to try and make it look better, but there we go. Finally, we've got the V pointing where it's supposed to. Did not want to go in place here, but we have finally got it on the actual logo, which fills out the top part of this quite nicely, I think. Like, I would say this could be looking a lot worse, especially given I've taken a Dodge Challenger body, which isn't really a large GT body, but it's large enough, or a large coupe body. Because it didn't ask for a high performance sport body, so I can go with something that's maybe not necessarily a super high performance race inspired body, and it'll work. The door handles. We do need some door handles. I think these look like they might work. I don't know. Like for the time period and everything. No, they don't. I mean, I think they might be like Peugeot 106 handles, but these actually will just look good on it. Because I am going for like those 90s, late 90s vibes, because I just feel they suit this car. So I feel like I'm going to win with it. Which is interesting because it kind of falls into the same kind of time era bracket as the the Toasty Wheels thing, but it's a totally different car. More powerful, but probably less handling focused. I mean, it's not on race tyres, even if they're radials. They're still not race tyres, they're just normal mid-grade road tyres. But no less. I think this is a fairly decent cohesive design. I would say make these door handles a little taller. Maybe just a little. I think that works. And then we can put this on like the boot lid. There we go. Make that 0 so it's not rotated. And I would say I've built worse looking cars. It's maybe not the best looking, but it's fairly cohesive front to back. I think this car is just about ready to export then and give it a try. No side indicators because they're built into the mirrors. I've not gone with any kind of bonnet accessory or scoop or anything. I just don't feel it would suit this car. There's enough cooling on the front. There's like a largish grille on the top and then there's some grills on the bottom. No, no fog lights. You'll have to do without them. Doesn't technically need them. It's the higher end feature typically. Anyway, let's hit export. We've got 58% of the power. Actually, just one more thing to check before export. I didn't check the warnings. It hasn't got power steering. The wheel deemed we do not deserve power steering. The car's weight and lack of weight. Yeah, brake fade, clearance. The brakes stuff from brake fade. The gearbox reliability is low. I don't have much choice on that. As long as the gearbox is functioning, it's fine. Because I don't like changing the quality sliders. I like them all having the same kind of like baseline to work off. So between the wheel cars, everything is like put at a very equal level. If I had to, I guess I could upgrade the quality of the transmission, but this one is working, if not the most reliable unit in the world. So, I will now be moving to BeamNG to see how things will go taking this around the track. Come on, vehicle. My head was doing that old video thing where I just finished speaking and then I just stopped speaking because there's no need to keep speaking. Anyway. BeamNG loading. Come on. It usually starts quicker than this. I will bring it up when it's actually loaded beaming. There we go. Finally at the launch menu. There we are. And into the game. BeamNG drive. So we'll go more. I am kind of organised. I knew to click on time trial this time round. So go automation test track. I think it's racetrack circuit we use. 3 laps. And let's select our new vehicle. I did a bit of adjustment to the toasty wheels. It was very woolly the first time round. It drives a lot better now with just a bit of suspension tweaking, so that's something. We've got like 2 large coupe type vehicles now. This is definitely the most powerful, but it doesn't have the assistance of all-wheel drive. We're just dealing with the front wheels being driven. So that's a thing that happened. Try and reposition myself. Oh, the monitor is to the left now. Can try just scooting that along. That's slightly better. And can remove the music because we don't need the music at the moment. The other one had a flat 6 and this has a V12 and you can hear that, sorry. It also smokes out the front. It's almost like the exhaust is just leaking really bad. Smoke comes out the front of the car when you rev it, and it's like exhaust, but why is it coming out the front? There's exhausts on the back. Okay, I think it's still going to work just fine. I hope it's not going to overheat, or I'll likely have to re-export it and stuff. So, okay, going to drive. It's got ESC on. I'm going to leave the ESC on. It's front wheel drive, so I'm going to just leave that on. I think it'll probably help overall with all this power going through the front. Over 600 horse, I believe. The CVT isn't very exciting, and it does understeer like a boat. Well, it is a road boat. That's its name. It doesn't handle too bad, though. Like, as I say, you have to respect its front wheel drive. Oh, dear. It's overheating. The car wants to overheat. I don't know what to say at this point. Oh, dear. Yes, cool down while I'm gone on the dirt. First car we've had in a while that overheats. The test vehicle did. I don't know. Like, it shouldn't be overheating. I gave it enough ventilation on the front. Very strange. Oh, you can't see the speedometer because I'm in the way, but yeah, the temperature gauge is going up pretty quickly. It's kind of holding, actually. It got to a higher temperature, it's kind of holding. Oh dear, please slow down, please slow down, please slow down, please slow down, please slow down. Thank you, ABS. If this didn't have ABS, it would have for sure hit a wall. It doesn't like slowing too well, and I expected that much. I mean, the braking isn't downright awful, though. Dear, dear, dear. Honestly, I was going slow enough at that corner, but it wasn't having it. I don't know, where's it? One key. I was going slow enough there, though. Maybe I was going quicker than I anticipated, but it just wasn't braking around corners. It was like going in a straight line, almost like it doesn't have ABS. So I'm going to have to, if this even makes it to a second lap without overheating horrendously, I mean, I'm going to have to give it a chance. It's quite slow off the line, though, and then it just keeps going, which I find interesting. Like, it said 5.8 to 60, so I was never expecting it to be too quick. But what's interesting is, it does that slow, like, off-the-line performance, but once you get it moving, it's not bad at all. But you can tell this hasn't got the assistance of rear-wheel drive, because it doesn't handle all that well. In terms of, like, oversteer, understeer. I mean, the ESC isn't going to help, I'll be honest, in terms of that. I could even try turning it off, because, like, I just don't think it's helping the car. So if we go, where is it? Come on, mouse. I do not know where I'm clicking. There we are. So, like, I can try and multitask here, because I really think that's destroying it. So drive mode off. There we go. So we should just have the ABS now. I don't think I actually damaged the steering when I hit that wall. Oh no, it's not slowing, it's not slowing. It hasn't overheated. Like, I was sure this was overheating, and oh dear. I think I clicked something on the wheel and, like, paused it. It's okay. Come on, I think I turned the engine off. Not used the wheel in a while, so I turned the engine off. Oh no, coolant's overheating. I'll let it cool down for a moment, because at this point I've already thrown the lap away by turning the engine off. So I'll go slow for a moment, let it cool down, because it was fine on the first lap. Maybe it was just how I, like, set it off, and it was fine after that. What I feel like, it sounds weird, but maybe it overheats, like, naturally if you're just driving it normally. But once you get up to such a speed, there's so much air being, like, brutally forced into the engine that it kind of levels out. And I mean, maybe it's the nitromethane, maybe it's the supercharger, maybe it's just everything on this car being so crazy high power that it doesn't work. But it's almost like, it seems to be overheating worse than it was on the first lap. Which I did, honestly, I did get the first lap to finish, so it has got a lap, even if it overheats here. What's interesting, though, as I say, it's like you would think it would overheat going along here. It's actually seeming to cool at the higher speeds. Yeah, it's like you go 140, though, and you don't notice. The thing is, like, so smooth, but it doesn't necessarily have the cornering to go with a car that is capable of this level of high-end speed. It is very stable, though. I think just largely attributed to the size of it. And I can say that's not a bad thing. I've built cars with the wheel that I dislike a lot more than this. Ow. Yeah, it's like just that one corner. It always catches me off guard. But with this particular vehicle, two things that happen are very interesting. Firstly, it's hit the wall twice and it's just not affected cornering in the slightest. So it seems pretty tough. Also, the car is... oh dear. The car has a lot of understeer. No, but firstly, it hit that wall twice. Secondly, as much as that corner always catches me off guard, I was being particularly careful in both laps here, and it hit the wall both times. I'm going to have to really lean on the third lap, because I think if I'm extremely careful, I can get round without hitting the wall. And it has survived. This is not going to be the quickest car, though, because you look at the world's fastest watermelon, or the toasty wheels. Both those cars, like, you could tell were quick, and coolant overheating. Gonna have to go easy on it a little. Again, it seems very specific circumstances cause the oil to overheat, and it's a problem. I'm not going to deny it's an issue, but I feel I can still get a lap without it overheating. Quite frankly, I'm surprised it's not run out of fuel with like 4 miles per gallon. Come on. Spinning these front wheels, but I think I can get some straight line speed out of it regardless. Slow, step on these brakes. Try and let the thing turn in. Oh dear, maybe I've actually damaged the bodywork enough to impede under cornering there. I feel like maybe it's equally the transmission that's messing with it. I can go back into automation and ramp up the cooling. And, you know, if I publish this on the BeamNG website, which I likely will do eventually, I'll likely just put a load of them up there. If I do that, then I will probably just give it a bit more cooling in the menus. It's not usually a problem, but it's a problem that rarely happens on automation cars. Thankfully with this, it's not bad enough to impede on the driving experience totally. I feel like it may also be the CVT though impacting it, just the fact of how it is. I'm going to go flat out with this on the straightaways, but if I can get around here, yeah. Now I'm going to go flat out here, use the speed, because it's odd, but once it gets going, the air gets to the engine and it does cool it down. Piston wings damaged. I am damaging the car, yeah. I think those hits with the wall did something to it. I'm going to try getting it to the line, and it may still be the quickest lap, even with the damage, because it's going. The thing makes so much power, though. I might not even need all the power past this point. You can see all the smoke. This engine is just not happy at all, oh dear. Come on. Well, that's the best I have done. I managed to avoid hitting the wall, but I am still on the sand. The thing is, I think even hitting the wall now, though, this car is just completely destroying itself with damage for piston wings. I mean, it is just not happy. It needs more engine cooling. That's the one takeaway I've got. It also has a few flaws just being front-wheel drive. Front-wheel drive cars are not meant to be this brutally powerful. And you can tell. Like, it does put the power down. But it's just trying to get around the corners. It's not ideal at all. On the brakes. It's crazy, though, how the two fastest cars have been on cross-ply tyres, which I like to hate on cross-ply tyres. But there's no denying you can still get a lot of performance out of them. Engine oil critically low. Yeah, what's new with this? The car is actually still driving surprisingly well, given the engine is basically falling to pieces. Come on, full power here. Full send. As much speed as you can get, car. And there we go. I have no idea. 3 minutes 10 was that? How did this do? Let's see. It's slow. Okay, 2:57 was our fastest. Not sure what lap that was. Probably a first one, to be honest. I think that was a third lap where the engine was just destroying itself. And we have got 2:57 here, which is real eye for gore. Okay, so like the crazy 800 horsepower BMW bodied thing with the engine in the back. That was slower than this. Admittedly, that wasn't a finished, like, retuned car, but that was slower. So I guess that's kind of a win, because this with front-wheel drive and less power and more rate, might I add, has managed to somehow be quicker than that. Then we've got the failure of a vehicle. Beat it. Biblically accurate minion in a different league. Over 10 seconds quicker. And then, need I say, the toasty wheels turbo, which didn't have a turbo. It was 225, so, you know, we're looking at over 30 seconds slower than that. It's not the quickest car. What else have we got? Yeah. So, real eye for gore. Yeah, the real eye for gore was actually just slower then. I mean, it's in the base league, really. I don't know if I've had the... What else have I had? I don't think I've had the crossover here. It would be interesting to see how this compares to that, because same suspension config ultimately. What else? So yeah, I for gore 240. That's a lot quicker. I think that might have been where I did it correctly and like I had to restart. I don't know. Wheel Car RS Froggy Edition. That was the first one. I mean, yeah. The wheel has built far quicker cars. From a kind of cohesive measure, I don't hate it, but it's just the way this car is. the way this car is, it's not happy. Like, the engine's already, like, overheating before you even get going. So now I can just move this avatar. Could go like that. Yeah, you'll see there is. Let's see the temperature gauge. If I just like rev the thing. If I rev this thing, it like starts to overheat. Let's put it in gear. Let's put it in gear and just go like. Let's just like rev it into a wall or something. You'll see how much that temperature gauge goes up. Impact detector, stopping car. It's not horrible, but it's just, you know, there's so much flawed with it. I can let the lights on. I like the look of it. And I would definitely like to, like, rebuild this, but maybe with some nicer tyres and just better rear suspension. But it could be so much that it's not. Anyway, I'll pop up off the ground again. I'm going to leave it here for today. And I will hopefully build something a little quicker next time. But for now, I'll say goodbye until another day.